why are power and cooling critical to system stability is the first question. So, power and cooling, essential parts of computer systems. They're very critical to the airflow that happens within a device. If the airflow is not good and systems can overheat, they can cause random crashes and other issues, shutdowns, and also cause damage to devices. So it's important to just kind of like understand how important it is to, why cooling is and powering systems is important information. So as you learn more about it, what's its role, and then what's its role in troubleshooting devices. The next real big point is connecting component health. So, components of systems and understanding how components connect and work together really help you better understand the reliability and lifespan and performance of a system over time. So it's really important, just understand power, cooling, and why is it important to systems in general. So just understanding how these systems work together. So the next question we're going to dive into is, what mistakes do beginners make when upgrading or building systems? So one thing to think about if you're thinking about building a system or you're, investigating the parts of a computer system is making sure that the connectors are correct. A lot of people will, buy all the pieces they want to put together to build a system, but it's important to understand which connectors are the right connectors. Also, if you're connecting components and cables, you want to make sure that their seated parts are seated correctly. The pins are the pins are connected well, ports are connected appropriately, things are just connected nice and snug and accurately. Additionally, you want to understand what are the threats of static discharge and when to use an ESD strap, when that's appropriate to kind of, stop issues with static discharge from computer parts. Are there blocked airflows that are happening when you're putting the parts together, and how could that affect the function of the system that you're putting together? And ultimately, one of the biggest parts when you're thinking about putting a system together is compatibility. So you want to make sure that you are finding ways to check the compatibility of system components so they make sure that they work well together. And of course, when you're working on putting system components together, taking your time, understanding the different parts of the computer, how they go together in the appropriate order. And also, if you have questions about a part, making sure that you're checking for manuals and specific specifications. Not only is that of the component itself and making sure it's the right choice, but also that it's going to work well with your other components is a really important step. So let's talk about now what troubleshooting steps help identify hardware failure. So we're working with hardware and maybe we come across some issues where some hardware has failed. So first of all, we want to think about, does it have accurate power? Are the connections connected appropriately, both internally and externally of a device? Is the power supply working? Are we seeing the status lights that we think we should be seeing? Are the fans functioning? Are they getting the correct amount of power? Is heat being dissipated properly within the system? Is there a heating system that's too much, that's forcing one area to be warmer than another? Is it working properly to do its job? And one other piece to think about is just what have been recent changes that you've made to the system. Could these recent changes be affecting the system performance? That's an important kind of extra thought to have. Whether you've built a system yourself or you're putting it together, now you're thinking, have I made any changes that could be affecting the system performance? Also, swap testing. Swap testing is where you understand and want to test one component of a system at a time to see if that's creating the issue. So prior to switching out components of a system, you want to understand the functions of the system, right? And then you're going to, by understanding the function of the system, and maybe you have clues like maybe a power light's not going on, maybe a fan is not functioning, maybe the computer's not booting at all or getting enough power. Those are all initial symptoms that can help you identify what your very first step is if you were to switch something out and swap out a hardware component. And by doing that and walking through the troubleshooting methodology and then thinking about what you want to swap out and test, that's going to help you reduce guesswork where you're not swapping out too many things at once before you test. And then you're even in a trickier situation. You're being thoughtful around how you want to test your system. So now let's go into some career coaching questions related to this topic. What entry-level roles involve upgrades and component installation? And it's really most entry-level roles are going to involve some level of hardware and component knowledge in the day-to-day systems, whether it's, even if you're working remotely or you're in person, understanding the hardware people are using is going to help you either help someone else support their own solutions to working with the hardware, or you're going to be doing it in a hands-on way. So there's options like a bench technician, field support where someone's going out to understand, what the issue is, a desktop deployment where someone might be, doing it remotely or even, in person to a specific desktop environment, or a repair technician. So these are all entry-level roles in which understanding basic hardware and why it should or shouldn't be functioning a certain way is going to be really helpful. Now, a really important part about this is that in these entry-level roles, you might be doing tasks that are common and you're repeating them, more frequently than you're doing them almost every day, or you're doing every couple days. You're getting used to what these tasks might be. That kind of repetition is going to build confidence, not only with solving problems, but also understand what's causing problems before they happen. And then you're able to give really good advice and support around those types of issues. So the next question we want to address is, how can students build confidence diagnosing hardware problems, which is very important. How can you build more confidence while learning to diagnose problems? So once again, repetition, experiencing a problem, fixing a problem, understanding what's causing the problem, and also documenting, what causes different types of problems, if you're noticing slight differences, and why are those differences happening. And remember that if you are able to make a fix, you want to break it down to simplistic language and be able to explain it to someone else in a way that they're going to understand. So documenting, and then also being able to explain, I needed to replace the hard drive, the RAM and the hard drive in a particular system, or I needed to replace the power supply for this specific purpose, or these types of devices have this very specific type of problem. That often can be a way to begin learning about different hardware and how they can function differently in different environments. Now remember, it's, pattern recognition in this process is very important, and you're not always going to be perfect. You might spend an entire day troubleshooting one issue with a piece of hardware that you may have thought might have been a 10-minute thing when you started. So just remember, at first you might struggle with some of these types of challenges, but ultimately it's the repetition and the practice on certain types of hardware that's going to give you the ultimate I know how to fix it feeling, and that confidence that's going to come with that. So as a final closing prompt here, I'd like you to think about, what's one idea from the topic of power, cooling, and expansion that you could explain to someone else, and how would that help you in a real IT role? So just to give you some ideas for that is, just the potential choice of a power supply. What is the wattage rating needed? How do you check for a wattage rating? And why is that important? That may be a concept that you could even explain to someone who has a desktop computer. And also, every computer generally has a cooling system. You could point out and explain how different cooling systems, whether it's a water cooling system or a fan cooling system, all of those cooling systems essentially provide a function for the computer because it is running warm. It is running systems, and it's starting to increase its temperature. So you want to create balance within the system.